energy, right? One of the things I've specialized in terms of helping people is really helping with energy to help to reduce stress and increase energy, and alkalizing is an absolutely essential part of that. But let's just clarify what we mean by alkalizing for a second, because that's what I've decided to call it, because that's the term that's, that most of us are the most familiar with, that does the rounds in the health world. But let's clarify that, right? We don't want to be alkaline. What we actually want to be is balanced, right? We want to have the correct pH balance in each area of our body. And in fact, some areas of our body are actually meant to be a little bit acidic. Very few, but still significant areas of our body are meant to be very acidic, right? So it's not like we want to be completely alkaline. But what I've found is, again and again, working now with thousands of people, right, and hundreds of people one-on-one over the course, not just them seeing me once, but over the course of weeks, months, and years, where we actually get to see the result of their actions, is that the more that they alkalize, the better they feel. And that's because most of us have an excess of acidity in our system, right? Now, this alkalizing pack, this is a collection of products, right? And I don't want to pretend to you in any way that if you live an incredibly unhealthy lifestyle and you just take these products, that it's instantly going to resolve it, right? The truth is there are also certain lifestyle elements, like reducing your stress, right? Like having adequate rest, like having adequate hydration, that definitely also make a difference. But nonetheless, this can make a really powerful, significant difference. So what do we have in the pack? First of all, we have Barley Grass Juice Powder, right? Now there's a lot of different types of barley grass powder out there. The type that I've got in this pack is actually the Lionheart Herbs own brand, because it is, as far as I'm concerned, and I've tried dozens and dozens of different varieties over the years now, the best quality, most powerful, best value for money you can buy. First of all, just to clarify, it's Barley Grass Juice Powder. It's not barley grass powder. Most barley grass powder is just a powdered up grass, literally. They take the grass, they dry it, they powder it up, that's it. What we do with our barley grass is we actually cut it really fresh, and then we extract it. We make a juice out of it, right? So none of the fiber, it's just a juice, and then we evaporate off the water. So all that's left is the pure constituents, right? Things like chlorophyll, really high amounts, all kinds of nutrients, but especially potassium, right? And potassium is one of the minerals that your body needs to transport acids out of the system. So this is an incredibly high dose of potassium, which is one of the 4 electrolytes, which is so incredibly important for maintaining that acid-alkaline balance, right? Number 2 is calcium magnesium. And again, there are millions of different forms of calcium supplements out there. I think it's the most commonly sold supplement that exists. But most calcium supplements are actually terrible, right? They're not just useless, they're actually actively damaging and bad for your system, right? Most of them are just chalk, basically, or calcium phosphate, calcium carbonate, which just bungs up your system and is no help whatsoever when it comes to remineralizing your calcium. So why do we need calcium magnesium? Because these are, again, these are acid buffers, so they neutralize acidity in your system. And if you don't have enough calcium magnesium, then your body will rob it from your bones, from your teeth, right, which is where things like osteoporosis and teeth decay may well come from, and it's going to leave you deficient. It's going to rob your organs, your glands of it. So what we want to do is make sure we give our body enough calcium magnesium, right? And so that's a definite part of the alkalizing pack goal as well. Number 3, so far those two probably aren't a surprise to you, right? You've got barley grass with lots of greenness, chlorophyll, and huge amounts of potassium, 10% potassium in this. We've got calcium, magnesium, so that's 3 of the 4 electrolytes that are really important. The other ones being sodium, salt, probably more easily available to you on an everyday level already. And then number 3, we have Rejuvenate herbal tea, right? And the value of the Rejuvenate herbal tea is this is a very powerful kidney tonic, right? And it's the job of the kidneys to maintain that acid-alkaline balance in the body. This is why some people are able to get away with working long hours, not sleeping very well, right? Eating lots and lots of acidic food, and for some reason they're okay. And maybe you're in a position, more likely if you're watching a video like this, like me, where you can do only a little bit of those things and then you start to feel unwell, or you start to feel fatigued. Well, the reason for that is because, at least for now, the person who's able to last longer and get away with more bad behavior has stronger kidneys, right? And so putting Rejuvenate as part of the alkalizing pack is really important to strengthen, to tonify those kidneys, right? So that they're better able to actually deal with those acids, right? So what we're doing is we're strengthening the kidneys, and then we're giving the kidneys the constituents that it needs, right? The alkaline mineral constituents to be able to neutralize the acidity and transport it out of the body. Now, when it comes to alkalizing, one of the great things about it is that it's not something we have to guess about, you know? A lot of tests for various vitamins or hormones or neurotransmitters are actually quite expensive, quite difficult to do. And so for that reason, a lot of the time you're just kind of working out as best you can and doing your best, unless of course you have some kind of medical condition, in which case you do need to get these things tested. The great thing about alkalizing is that you can just test this yourself very easily with pH test strips. And that's why they're the final constituent of the gold alkalizing pack, right? So what you do with these, basically, now there's all kinds of ways to use them. I've tested them all, but I found that the most effective and reliable way of doing it is basically you just use this little strip of paper to test your morning urine, right? So you use a little bit of urine on the test strip, you wait a few seconds, and then you check it based on a color guide, and it will tell you what the acidity or alkalinity or neutrality your urine is first thing in the morning. And it's the first thing in the morning reading because it's the most reliable indication of your tissues, right? Which is what we're really looking at. So what do we do with this, right? If we feel okay, and we get an alkaline reading, or we get maybe pH 7, 7.25, something like that, that's a good sign that we're doing okay, right? Or if we're feeling great and we get that reading, that's a good sign we're doing okay. Now, if we get a quite acidic reading, right? So if we get a 6.5, a 6, a 5.5, maybe even lower, like a 5 or a 4.5, that's telling us we're acidic and that we have some work to do, right? So that's telling us that we need more of this, and maybe to incorporate some of the lifestyle changes I mentioned earlier as well, to go back to full health, full energy, and full endurance like we want to be, right? However, there is such a thing as a false positive with this, which I just want to warn you about. So it's possible that if you feel very bad, right? If you feel ill, if you know you have some kind of fairly severe medical condition, if you feel very exhausted, very drained, if you feel very anxious, and then you get a first thing in the morning pH reading which is quite alkaline, like 7, 7.5, even higher, that's a sign that your body is probably robbing those alkaline minerals like calcium, magnesium, maybe using ammonium as well to buffer the acids in you, and so that's what's called a false positive, right? And so what you'll find is as you alkalize and as you incorporate the rest and as you incorporate maybe lifestyle changes, your pH will seem to get worse initially, right? It may actually get more acidic temporarily because your body is getting better, and so it's not robbing your body of minerals anymore in order to buffer it, right? So I hope that's not too complicated, but basically bottom line is if you feel awesome and you get a reading of pH 7 or around about that, great, good for you. Then you just need to do these minimally, if at all, right? But if you feel terrible and get a kind of pH 7 or higher reading, that's a sign that actually you still got a lot of work to do. And if you get a reading which is quite acidic, that's also a sign that you've got some alkalizing to do, right? So that's basically how you use the pH test strips. How do you use everything else? The barley grass juice powder, I like to have this in water, maybe 2 teaspoons, first thing in the morning. Then again, I'm quite used to this kind of thing, so if you're not, definitely start more gently than that, maybe have half a teaspoon in water, something like that, and build up slowly. In the very same glass of water, you can put your calcium and magnesium, right? So again, depending on where you're at, but you can generally follow the directions in the bottle. If you're very sensitive, then you might want to start off with half the amount it says in the bottle. And if you know you're very acidic and you know that these things that generally you're quite hardy and they don't affect you too much, you can really double the amount that's on the bottle, because you probably need a lot of calcium and magnesium if you are very acidic. And then with the Rejuvenate herbal tea, this is really easy to make. This is something you can have at any point of the day. I often quite like to have this in the afternoon, but you can have it in the morning. I've had many clients say it's a great substitute for having a coffee because it gives you that kick, it's quite energizing. You can have it in the evening as well to recover from the day. It really works anytime. And how do you make it? It's so simple. It's just like making an instant coffee, right? You just get a cup, put a 1, 2 teaspoons, just follow the directions on the packet, maybe even half a teaspoon again if you're sensitive, in the cup. Add some hot water, add some sweetener if you want, and drink it. Really as simple as that. That is the basic how-to formula for the Alkalizing Pack Gold.